right, welcome back. We're here in chapter 4. Beginning chapter 4, of course, is going to be about matrices. So let's talk about what a matrix is. Kind of a way of organizing data in a rectangular array. And so you can kind of see some information that we have uh, down below. And let's just kind of talk about the kind of the intricacies of that. We talk about its dimensions. Dimensions are the rows by the columns. Okay, rows by columns. So we can kind of see here that if we count the rows, we have 2 rows, and then there are 3 columns. So we'd say it's a 2 by 3. All right. Now the address that we can talk about is kind of showing the location. So as we're looking over here, the address, it says 2, 1. So that means go to the second row, first column, and we can see where that is. That's going to be that entry right there. So we should be able to identify those if we give you an address. Gives you the row by the column, gives you that entry that you have right there. So a good quiz would be like this. The matrix M to the right there. What are the dimensions? Well, let's see how many rows. 1, 2, 3 rows by 4 columns. I'd say 3 by 4. All right, what's the entry at 3, 2? Okay, so we'd have to go to the third row, second column. That would be 11. And then 0 appears at what 2 addresses? Well, let's see, this would be the second row, third column, so it would be 23. And then this one would be the first row, fourth column, that would be 14. So we'd kind of use this kind of data as we do it to use the lowercase m for the matrix and then put the row column right there. And it works out pretty nice. Okay. All right. Now, can we add and subtract matrices? Well, of course. Now, the condition that we have to have is that they have to be the exact same dimension. And what we do with that is that we're going to add each of the corresponding entries. Okay, so add the 1 and the 5 to get a 6 and a 2 and a 10 to do 12. Now, there are ways to do this on the calculator as well, but it really is just easier to do it by hand, way quicker by the time you put them in. So again, make sure that they have the same exact dimensions. If they're not the same, if they're arrayed in a different way, then you can't do it. All right, so let's see what we can do here. Let's see, can we do this matrix? Well, let's see. First of all, we're going to take W plus Y. Yeah, they're the same dimensions, so we can do that. Let's get the marker pen out here. So what we would do is we'd say, okay, that equals, and we'd put this in here. Let's add the corresponding entries. We'd have, well, that would be a 4. Then we'd have a 2, and then 1 and -2, that'd be -1. And this would be 3. And there would be our matrix. All right, just like that. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All right. So how about this one here? Can we do x minus z? Well, once again, are they the same dimension? The answer there is yes. So we will be able to do that. We'll end up with a 2 by 3. So let's just subtract. 4 minus 2 is 2. 7 minus a -2, that's 9. Careful with those negatives. 2 minus 3 is -1. 5 minus 1 is 4. 1 minus 0 is, let's see, that's a 1. And -1 minus 4 is -5. So again, just go ahead and subtract those corresponding entries. Remember, it's got to be the same dimension, otherwise all bets are off. All right, so when we try to do x plus y here, we say, oh, we simply can't do that. It does not exist. There's no solution there because it's not the same dimension. Okay. Could we do b minus a? Yeah, we've talked about that. We could certainly do those same dimensions. Just subtract. Make sure you do it in the order that they say. Well, actually, b minus a we can't. I was thinking b minus d here. B minus a, no, they're not the same dimension. Absolutely not. Can't do that. Could we go d minus b? Well, sure, we could do those same dimensions again. Just make sure you do it in the order that they list because that's different. Okay. All right, so there we go. We got those. Now, can we multiply? We'll get into multiplying matrices. Today, we're just going to do scalar multiplication. That's where we're just going to take a number and we're going to multiply it by a matrix. So, in other words, right here, what's going to happen is we're going to take this, and this matrix here is just going to be, now, if we multiply it by 3, we just take all the entries. 3, -6, 0. We'd then have 12. We'd have 9, and we'd have 12. And that's how we'd multiply that. And then if we wanted to subtract that other matrix, okay, so then we'd subtract that, and let's see, let's just put that up here, I guess, on a space. Take this minus this, we'd have 3 minus 3, which is 0. 12 minus a -2, that'd be 14. -6 minus 1 is -7. 9 minus 0 is 9. 0 minus 2 is -2. 12 minus that would be 13. All right, so make sure to multiply it first. Just basically all you're doing is multiplying each of the entries by that number. So that's easy enough to do. Okay.